What's up guys, I'm Sumant from Phone Stein and this here is the OnePlus 3. I know it's come out a really long time back, but I've been using this for say the past 5 months, that is from the day of the launch, and this phone has served me really well until now, and I have a really good knowledge of how this phone performs till date, and you will also get a perspective of in the long run how well this OnePlus 3 will perform. Without wasting any time, let's get right into my OnePlus review. So let's just finish up with the build first, and as of now I've dropped this phone many times, and so if you take a look at this close part, as you can see here, the screen has come up a bit, and now that is kind of irritating. Still, considering that I've dropped this from really freaking great heights, this phone has stood up really well. And now this here is a deep brown skin, so that is just to cover all the scuffs which occurred in the edges, but there's no damage to the screen particularly, and that is really great. And the Corning Gorilla Glass 4 has proved that it is really good. But even the metal part of this phone has really stood up well. There are only really minor scuffs here and there, and just put on a deep brown skin and everything is going to be really fine. Now as for the design, I can wholeheartedly give a 9 out of 10. So now let's just finish off with the specs part, and I'm sure many of you know, but still, this has the Snapdragon 820 processor with 64 gigs of onboard storage, 6 gigs of RAM, an Adreno 530 GPU, a 5.5-inch Full HD AMOLED display, and a 3000 mAh lithium-ion battery. Now talking about the display, the OnePlus 3's display is a 5.5-inch Full HD display, and here it is an AMOLED display, and the screen is a 2.5D curved glass, so that means the screens are like bent towards the sides, and that gives an effect like the screen is merging into the body of the phone itself. And the screen is really strong, because as I previously mentioned, I dropped this boy here many times, not on purpose, but this has stood up really well. On close inspection, I haven't found any kind of scratches on this display other than my fingerprints. So this is how good the OnePlus 3's screen is. And now, since this is an AMOLED display, not the best in the market, because Samsung has even more better ones, and this is really powerful enough to output really good pictures. The pictures are vibrant, colorful, and pops out. The viewing angles on this device are good. This is one of the best displays in the market right now, and the viewing angles are good. No complaints about that. Now, since I've forgotten to talk about the form factor in the design segment, let me just finish it up for you right now here. This is a 5.5-inch device, yes, and so one hand reachability is not going to be that great. So if you have small hands, just make sure that, or take into consideration that this phone has really big screen and a really big form factor, even though the bezels are extremely thin. Now, before moving into all the camera and battery life stuff, let's just talk about the performance. Yes, the Snapdragon 820 is really amazing. As of now, I've got no heating issues. Yes, there's no heating issues with this smartphone here. Even while dash charging, this phone doesn't heat up, and that is a big kudos to OnePlus. And yes, it has again the Snapdragon 820 with 6 gigs of RAM. This sucker here is super fast. Apps open really quick, and there's no issue, and as of now I'm not experienced with any crashing. So yes, there's no crashes of any sort in this smartphone whatsoever, and the performance has been buttery smooth for the past 6 months. And again, updates have been coming regularly, and each time updates come, they fix an issue or something or the other, and OnePlus is really good at doing that. With that in mind, the performance is buttery smooth, and now since this runs on Android 6.0, which is Marshmallow, as you can see here, Nougat is, I don't know if it is going to come or not, but if it comes, this phone can definitely handle that with no problem at all. And if you guys want to see a gaming review and a dedicated temperature check, I have a separate video or a dedicated video on that, and you can check that out in the links down below. So moving on to the camera. So talking about the camera, this sucker here has a 16 megapixel camera with an f2.0 aperture, and I forgot to mention that it also has optical image stabilization. Even though the smartphone camera or the camera of the OnePlus 3 protrudes out of the body itself, even after dropping it like plenty of times, this camera has survived all my drops. And now talking about the front facing camera, this is an 8 megapixel camera with again an aperture of f2.0, and now that is freaking awesome, and it is capable of taking 1080p video, and those front facing videos are actually good. So now you guys may ask, where's this camera samples? But don't worry, I again have a dedicated video on that, where I test out the camera immensely, especially under low light. So this camera definitely performs well in natural light. So where there's plenty of light available, the camera is top notch. I mean, again, not as good as an iPhone or a Samsung camera. I have a dedicated video on that, and I'll have that linked in the description down below so that you can check that out. And the full the high resolution images of those camera samples will again be linked in the description down below, which you can check out. So now this is the interface of the camera. Basically this is a really clean interface, and now taking a look towards left, you have your HDR, where you can keep it auto, enable it, or switch it off. And then you have your HQ, high quality photos, or then here we have a flash options. And then clicking on this menu here, you can scroll through all the features here, like the manual mode, which is here you have your shutter speed, you have your focus, you have your exposure, and here you have your ISO. Now you can really change this, but don't think you'll get pro like videos, but this will definitely get the job done. And then now moving on to the right, here you have your menu where you can turn on the grid, switch it off, your timer, and here is the frame size. So here we have it at 4:3, where this complete 16 megapixel gets used, and here you have your 16:9 ratio, and again you have a 1:1. So 16:9 will not give you the complete 16 megapixel camera quality, so it will definitely reduce it to again say 12 or something like that. Make sure you always have it at 4:3. So this is the camera interface. Sweet, simple, good, no bullshit or no crap loaded into this like FX and stuff like that. So if you want me to rate the camera out of 10, I would give this say a 7.5, because this is not the best camera under low light. The shutter speed is kind of okayish, not the best. The camera could have been a tad bit more better with 16 megapixels. The aperture size could have been smaller, maybe a 1.8 or 1.9 would have given better bokehs. But anyways, that is up to OnePlus to make all that possible. So this is just kind of a request to OnePlus to make the camera even more better. Now talking about the battery life, the OnePlus 3 has really kept up its word of having really good battery life. I'm not an intense user of a smartphone by any means. I use it moderately, I play some games, I watch YouTube really crazy heavily, and still this phone has really helped me survive the whole day with a single charge, and now that is great. And now with the dash charging, this phone really quickly charges up, so it's not necessary for me to keep it on charge the whole night. And now if you have the black theme enabled like how I have done, you will get even more a slightly say a tad bit better battery life, because since this is AMOLED, the black pixels are not lit up. So now talking about the battery life, I can definitely give this a solid 9 out of 10. So I just place my finger on it, there, boom. The fingerprint scanner is really quick and actually accurate, and for this past 6 months I have had no issues unlocking the phone. Yes, maybe when there is grease or some kind of dirt on your hand, it will definitely not recognize, because that is your interference. This fingerprint scanner is one of the best and definitely quick. Now you guys may ask about the speaker quality of the smartphone, and yes, this smartphone has even though this is a single mono speaker, it is loud enough. Not the perfect bass or not the best like any boom speakers available out there, but this phone has some amazing speakers, like I mean not in terms of the clarity, but the sound output is really loud even though it is only a single array of speakers. And this phone, I remind you, is not a waterproof phone, but I have dropped it in water and the speaker has not degraded. So let's just move into a quick sound check. So you guys have an idea of how the speaker sounds now. It is clear, crisp, one of the best speakers, I mean best mono speakers in the market right now, and gets the job done. Talking about the call quality, it is fine. The audio from either side is clear, so there's no issues with the call quality for those who are really concerned about it. But I found one issue with the cellular network. So I have a 4G SIM in this, but whenever I turn it on, yes, I have enabled the LTE option, and whenever I turn it on, only 3G gets enabled. So that is like really irritating. I don't know what the problem is. So if any of you guys definitely have that problem, definitely let me know in the description down below, because come on, OnePlus needs to fix that as soon as possible. With and not being able to get 4G internet is really bad, even though this phone has LTE. So if OnePlus you're watching this, make sure to fix that issue as soon as possible. Now you guys may think that I've done kind of a review, but this is how the phone has stood for me, like say for the past 6 months. Now when you ask about the performance, the best, top notch. I have had no problems with this phone whatsoever, cause the performance is like really butter smooth. The apps or say games, whatever you throw at it, and even if you have multiple apps running at the same time, this phone definitely doesn't crash, and I give guarantee for that. And now with this fast performance, you might think the battery life is really bad. No, the updates were really good in improving the battery life of the phone, and now I can go through the whole day on a single charge, and now that is really good. If you ask about durability, yes, this phone is really strong, and I just have this debronze skin on the back of my phone just to hide the scuffs, but even without that, the scuffs are not actually visible until you just take a close look at that. And I've dropped this phone like many times, and if you take a look at the screen now, as you can see here it live, the screen is in pitch perfect shape. Talking about the camera, yes, the camera is not the best, but still this camera can take some amazing shots in natural light. Even low light is okay, but kind of grainy-ish when there's like really poor lighting. Even the front facing camera is really good for taking amazing selfies and uploading that on Instagram. And now talking about OnePlus themselves, how they treat us, the customers, how well the updates are coming and how well everything is. They have an amazing team for rolling out updates. I mean, don't expect no get soon, but all your updates relating to software issues, like recently there was a ringtone issue, like where the phone did not have the ringtone ringing, and that was fixed immediately. So there was a 6 MB update, just 6 MB for fixing that ringtone, and yes, that definitely did fix. So there were many issues like this, and OnePlus was really quick enough to solve those issues in no time. So and even if you have any hardware related problems, you can definitely contact OnePlus, and they'll be really quick to fix all that. For 28,000, this phone is definitely the best that you can buy right now. This has all the crazy high-end stuff in this, with like little minor letdowns like the camera, which definitely can be improved over time with a firmware update, and I'm sure OnePlus is working on that right now. Should you buy the OnePlus 3 right now? Definitely. Instead of going with a Samsung Galaxy S7 or an iPhone 7, don't waste money, go with this. You will definitely have the top notch performance. So if you guys have any queries on how the OnePlus 3 is performing until now, definitely let me know that in the comments right down below. So if you like this video, make sure to hit a thumbs up. So anyways, thank you for watching, and this is Sumant signing off once again. Catch you later. Bye.